Alright, it's a little late. After work today, I went down to Helena and listened to their spiel about possibly getting the job down. It wasn't like, okay, it wasn't an interview or anything. Technically, the job posting hasn't even been made yet. They just know who I am, so they wanted to talk to me before anything went down, to see what I was interested in and see how things could work out and whatnot. So anyhow, that took up a big chunk of this afternoon. Plus, I played hell getting this sprayer cleaned out. I have never had an issue like that before. It has to be that Oculus, because that's the only thing that changed in that corn mix, was rather than using a request to use the Oculus, which just so happens when I was down there at Helena, I asked them if they had any issues with that tank mixing, and they didn't say yes, but they didn't say no, and they also said that this is going to be the last year that they would be carrying that particular product. So that right there probably tells you something. So next year I'm going back to request, because that water conditioner I never had a single issue with. But anyway, I basically had to disassemble like half the plumbing on the sprayer, because there was this white slimy shit caking everything. It was inside the pump, it was inside the hoses, it was inside the nozzles. The reason that I couldn't see through this hose was because the hose was, or the sight gauge hose was full of it. So now I took a bottle brush and cleaned the hose out. Now you can see in it again. It was everywhere. And like I say, I've Halex and atrazine, that's what I've been spraying on corn for like the last 3-4 years. Never had any residue on the inside of the sprayer anywhere from that mix. It has to be that Oculus. I don't know what else it could be. So anyhow, that's all taken care of. She's all back together, she's cleaned out, should be good to go. So time to start spraying beans. I'm gonna get a tank mixed up. As late as it is, I might only get Grandma and Grandpa's done here. But a start is a start. And tomorrow I got Helena bringing me up 900 gallons of 28 to put in the bulk tank, so that hopefully Sunday we can start applicating, because right now I plan to spray beans tonight, tomorrow, and Saturday, and hopefully get everything sprayed that needs sprayed right now. Cause like my uncle, that's fine. I think everything except my uncle's probably needs sprayed right now though. So that's a good chunk of. And then hopefully Sunday I get done early enough that I can finish Tuesday while it was went too windy to spray. I got the duals taken off the 1955. I got the 77 and the Haymore put away. And I drug the T in the planter over here and started working on cleaning that up. I got the seed all cleaned out of the hoppers. I got the plates all pulled out. I got the tanks flush with water. I got antifreeze in it. I got all the lines flushed out. I got the squeeze pump disassembled. So basically that's just down to needing a bath. So hopefully Sunday I can get that done, because I'd really, if at all possible, like to use the T to applicate, just because there are still wet, as dry as we are. Well, I mean, we're honestly not dry. We got really good surface moisture. It's just the crust on top's got it sealed up, and we're not really losing anything to evaporation anymore. But there's enough wet spots still floating around that I'm worried with the 1800, if the narrow front finds a spot and then you go down and then you make a mess out of the corn trying to get it on. It's just, but we'll see how that all plays out. So anyhow, as far as spraying beans go, it's a mix I've been using again. The water conditioner is smoked this time on this mix, which, like I say, I've sprayed this before and never had an issue with anything. But it's 56% water conditioner, and then or 56% water conditioner and adjuvant, and then 43% is inactive carrier. Which, if you're interested in the trihydroxyl carbols, yeah, all that shit that you can't pronounce. And then Enlist, Roundup, and Zidua. So half gallon of smoke, 5 gallons of Enlist, 5 gallons of Roundup, and a half a gallon of Zidua per tank. And a tank does 20 acres. So that's what we got. I'm gonna get some water in this thing and make sure everything's good with just water in it before I go ahead and chemical, and then we'll get to spraying. The other thing I want to mention real quick, actually we'll mention that at the end of this video. Now we'll do it right now. I had said back when we were talking about the Iowa trip and summer plans and stuff, I was gonna try to go down to the Gathering of the Orange, because it's just a stone's throw away down here in LaPorte this year. That is actually coming up here. I guess start today. Yeah, so it started today, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I was gonna try to go down there Saturday. I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it. There's still too much going on. I got beans that need sprayed, we got corn that needs applicating. I still gotta get that. There's just, as much as I'd like to have a day off to go screw off for a while, we missed the Father's Day truck show last weekend that we normally go to. Didn't go to that because I had stuff needing done. It just, when I said that, I was not planning on this year going the way it has gone so far. So doesn't look like I'm going to make it to the Gathering of the Orange. However, they did announce the date for 4014, or Union Pacific 4014 going to Chicago, and that's in September, so that should be fairly easy to make it to. I really want to go to that. So, but I was also really looking forward to going to the Gathering of the Orange, because there's usually some pretty cool shit shows up to that. But I don't know, we'll have to see how things go. Maybe I can take off half a day on like Saturday morning or something, because I'd really like to go, but still a lot of stuff needing done. So anyway, so we need our half a gallon of smoke. Now we'll just set you. Hopefully my new camera mount shows up tomorrow. vegetate for another hot minute, but I know you can't really see them for all the weeds, but the beans out here actually look pretty damn good. All things considered, they're about the top of your boot. So most of what's out here is lamb's quarters, in all honesty. It's really not that bad. There's some ragweed down there where there's normally ragweed. The beans are kind of thin right here because anybody remembers there was, for like the last 6-8, I don't think it was a full year, like last 8-9 months, there was a pile of dirt and wood chips right there, mostly dirt. And earlier this spring, Dad took those piles to get rid of them and spread them out along these end rows here. And after he did it, I should have drugged a chisel plow over it, but I didn't. I just drugged a finisher over it. I should have drugged it. I should have ran a chisel plow over it to mix up the topsoil underneath with. I think most of this is actually subsoil from. Where did this come from? Everything from the retaining wall went to my house. Where did this come from? Honestly can't remember. But anyhow, like I say, if it wasn't for the fact that about half the beans around here look exactly like this because guys are so far behind on everything, I'd be a lot more embarrassed about it. But it is what it is. The beans are there. It's just lamb's quarters for the most part and some grass. It's nothing that's going to be hard to kill. It's just, it is what it is. Can't do anything about it. All we can do is try to do better next year. Which got spoiled last year because last year that we weren't getting, we weren't getting any rain, so the crops weren't growing, but the weeds weren't growing either, so it was easy to stay on top of spraying last year. This year we kept getting rain and the crops were growing, but the weeds were also going batshit, so. But we'll get her. Alright, that's one shit show done. A few more to go. Trying to decide if I go to my grandma's and get that, or if I run into town and get 5 acres there. the right amount of kick spray, so where to go? I gotta go back to the house real quick and blow out a spray tip, because I got one of my half-rate nozzles giving me a little bit of a fit. I don't know why, I can't see nothing in it, but I'll blow it out with an air hose, see if that helps, and decide where I want to go from there. Now this field ain't too shabby. If they all look like this, I wouldn't feel so bad about it. Don't know what the big side looks like yet, but if the other side looks like this, not too shabby. None too shabby. I wish everything looked this good. I mean, most of the beans look halfway decent, but you know, this clean. The only issue I got out here is my typical woodchuck problem right here along the railroad tracks, and then on both sides of the ditch. I bet they got, I don't know, not quite half an acre, and probably about a quarter acre mowed off on the other side of the ditch, and then part of the little dork behind the house, probably 10 yards 15 yards up from the ditch, they got all mowed off. Can't really take, well, I mean, the only option I have to take care of them would be set some live traps or some conibear traps or something, because these are nice folks that own this place, but they're out of Chicago and they're not exactly gun friendly. So nice car. Anyhow, '64 Ford Fairlane, nice car. It's kind of what I thought it was when he's driving up. I mean, obviously I'm not a car guy, but I thought it was a Fairlane. But he gave me the phone number for these people here that got this weed patch growing. There was a guy making hay off of it for years, and I guess last year they never even made a cutting off of it. So he gave me the guy's phone number, said give him a call, see what we can do. I mean, if I farmed it, I'd hopefully be able to talk him into letting me take it out of hay. There's like saplings and stuff growing in it now, so you couldn't really, you'd almost have to go out there and brush hog it or something, because you couldn't cut hay off of it or you'd tear the mower up. But anyhow, I'm gonna call it here for tonight, because they say it's not supposed to rain, but it feels like it's gonna rain, and I don't trust it, so I don't want to get any more laid down and have it rain right behind me. So we will continue tomorrow. All right, we're back for another day. I'm getting started a little late. It's 6:30. I had to stay longer at work because they cut a bunch of hay and it kind of turned into a fiasco, so I stayed and helped bale for a while. But anyhow, this field looks like it's mostly grass and lamb's quarters from what I can see. Got some, I guess, common rag. But should be able to clean it up. That stuff I sprayed yesterday has already got a kill on it. That Enlist works wonders. See if I can do this one-handed. I definitely think that Oculus was the problem with the corn mix, because I had 2 tips plug up on me yesterday, but it wasn't slime. It was like just little hunks of like rust or something. I don't know where it would have come from. When that happens, it kind of ticks me off, because I got screens in there, and the chunks that get stuck in the tips are always bigger than the screen. So it's like, how did you get past the screen? But it only happened twice. Once on a half-rate tip, and once like on one of the middle. So anyhow, let's get after it. Probably gonna get this field and one other one done yet tonight. I'll have to refill. I've already got the nurse tank staged up where I'm gonna need to refill that, so that's ready to go. So we just gotta get to it. So this is kind of funny. You see that bald spot right there? Right there. Last year when I was planting corn, my landlord came out and talked to me, and I had the planter parked right here with a tank on the downhill side, and it did the thing where all the fertilizer ran from the top side tank to the bottom side tank. It made a puddle right there, and apparently that spot's still a little hot from the fertilizer because it burned all the beans and killed them right there. I just saw that and had to laugh a little bit. Halfway done with this field, and I got to refill the sprayer. The vast majority of what's out here, basically all of that, is all wild carrot. There's a few gypsum weeds scattered here and there, but for the most part that's all wild carrot. And then my cocklebur patch right here that just refuses to go away. You spray it, you kill it, it stays away. Next spring it's back again. But anyhow, and then this whole hill right here, there's a triangle from like right here all the way over, and then down to where the field curves around the buildings, and then a spot back around the buildings. The woodchucks have ate all this off, which every single one of these buildings here is all inundated and undermined with woodchucks. All of them, every single one, because nobody's ever out here, or they don't maintain the property, or which there's supposed to be somebody mowing this, but anyway, it's not my problem. So if they ever do decide to do anything with these buildings, they're gonna have one hell of a mess on their hands just fixing all of the undermining from the woodchucks. But anyhow, let me get refilled here, and we'll finish this field up, and that'll probably be a night. Well, it wouldn't surprise me if we're not back here in 5-6 days, a week-ish, after this stuff dies down, to come back and clean up some skips, because I got off to check something, and this tip and this tip were completely plugged with that white shit. They flat out just were not working. So you're gonna have 36 inches there that just wasn't doing anything. With the amount that was in there, I think it would have been, I think it was fine on that last field. I know it should have been fine yesterday, because before I sprayed that first tank out, I went through and cleaned all the tips and all the screens and everything while the sprayer was clean. So everything was cleared out and working yesterday when I started. But it has to be residual stuff cleaning off the hoses and everything and making its way to the tips, because this time around I'm not even spraying anything that can make something that color. So it's still got to be residual crap left over from what I couldn't get cleaned out of it the first time around. But anyhow, I'm going to get this thing home and come get the nurse tank and call it a night, and we'll get a fresh start first thing in the morning, and shouldn't have any issue getting over what's left that needs sprayed as of right now. But I think tonight I'm gonna I got 2 more videos from Charles City I got to get uploaded. I think I'm gonna go ahead, since it's Friday, and throw one of those up tonight, so I can get those 2 out of there, or get that one. I still got one more that I got to put together yet. That's probably gonna be like a 15-16 minute one, and then the Charles City stuff will be done finally. But you guys will have seen that by the time this video gets up, so you'll already know. But anyhow, that's it for now, and we will catch you guys tomorrow to finish up, at least for the time being. Then we can switch to applicating. We're back. As you've obviously figured out, I've already sprayed my grandma's here. Believe it or not, there are beans out here, and other than the spots, the typical spots that the woodchucks eat, they actually do not look that bad. They'll look better once you can actually see the rows again. But that being said, and this is going to sound crazy, and there's going to be a lot of guys that call me stupid for it, I've found on this field, call me crazy, if you let it get a little green and let the weeds kind of temporarily overtake the beans for a minute, it's like the woodchucks can't find the beans and they quit eating them. And then that lets the beans get big enough that the small tender leaves are all of a sudden big not so tender leaves, and then the woodchucks leave them alone, and then you come in, burn it down, and you're good. Like I say, sounds crazy, but it seems to be a thing. I don't recommend it as an actual management practice, but the best thing to do for the woodchucks is lead poisoning, but which I actually told my cousin to come out here. I told him I'd give him, I got three nephews, and I told them I give the boys $10 for every woodchuck that they shoot down here. I don't know if they shot any yet, but they got a spot mowed off right here, which normally there's not any there. Normally they all come out of those pine trees, but there's a spot in there, there's a spot here on the corner, but it doesn't appear to be as bad as in years past, so I guess we'll see once we can actually see the beans again. But anyway, on to the next one. I got 3 more fields I want to get done today, and then this afternoon I got to run up to my bosses and get the cat, because he's had it for the last 3 weeks doing tile work, and Dad needs it for a project. And then yet this afternoon I'd like to get the planter and the tee cleaned up so that I can get everything situated in that respect before we go to applicating. So anyhow, on to the next field. Okay, we're out here at the new field. Looks like it's mostly just grass and some velvet leaf. Beans look decent, but luckily it doesn't look like anybody did it over here. But I did the little 1 acre piece on the other side of the creek, and there was somebody's been over there tearing the hell out of it with a 4-wheeler. And I just texted my landlord, and he didn't know that anybody was out here, so apparently he's got some damn trespassers. But anyhow, get this sprayed. Well, I accidentally messed up and forgot to get any video in this field. But the beans look good, other than the fact that there's a bunch of grass. Looks like foxtail in them. A little bit of wild carrot, but mostly just grass. There's a few spots back here in this field where the jackasses were riding around with 4-wheelers. I didn't see anything in that field. There was a couple spots in the field over here on this side of the creek, which that's also got some woodchuck damage in it, but you'll have that when you're farming along a river. Creek, river, stream. It's not really a river, but it's the river. So anyhow, my landlord wants to see some pictures, because he said there's nobody that has permission to be riding 4-wheelers out here, so they were definitely trespassing. So I gotta go over the other side and get some more pictures real quick, and then we'll move on to the next field, which I might have to reload before I no, not quite. We got a little bit left. All right, this is the field that the deer have been tearing the hell out of. Honestly, I don't even want to spray it, because at least with the weeds growing, it looks green. Once you spray it, it might just all be brown. But I'm pretty sure they got a lot of this low ground here mowed off. They got a big chunk on top of the hill mowed off. But the breeze is also picking up, so I don't know how much longer I'll be able to go at it. But I'd really like to get this one, and I got one more 4-acre piece. And it's getting awful breezy on me. I'd really like to get this off the plate today so that I don't got to worry about it this week. So I'll try it and we'll see what happens. Well, I think I'm done for the day. It is way too damn windy. I made it down around. I had to stop over there next to that hay field for like 15 minutes, and then I made it from there to here, and it just you can't get nothing done with all the starting and stopping and waiting, and then even after all that, you're still losing some to drift. So it's just, and you got my landlord's garden there, there's a cornfield there, there's a hay down, and there's just too many risks of killing stuff that I don't want to kill. So we're gonna call it here for now. So I'm gonna go home and work on the 1950T and the planter, I guess, get them cleaned up so we can get set up to applicate. So we got chances of severe weather overnight, supposedly. They say high winds and possible hail. I mean, the wind ain't gonna, we just don't need any hail right now, because A, that would kind of play hell on the corn, and B, we got wheat that's about ready, and any hail would lay that flat on the ground and thrash the heads out, so we don't need none of that. So, and then I think we still got chances of rain first thing in the morning, but I don't know. It's gonna do what it's gonna do. We'll see how things play out from there. So that's it for this one. We'll catch you guys on the next one. All right, we're back. Not quite. I guess that wasn't quite the end. I left here about noon today. It's about 7:45 now. There's still a slight breeze, but it's not nearly as bad as it, or as sustained as it was when I left here earlier. So, and looking at the forecast, today is probably the last day for the next 5 or 6 days that I'm gonna have to be able to spray this, and I don't think this field can wait another week. So I'm gonna go ahead and try it. But this is kind of neat, the stuff that I sprayed this morning in just a tick over 7 hours. It's already, the enlist has already got it curling. So that's neat. But I noticed real quick, that boom's sagging a little bit. I gotta take up some slack in that. So let me grab my tools real quick. I'm gonna do that, and then we're gonna go after it again. See if we can get these last 2 fields done before dark, hopefully. Okay, real quick, before we take off, I just wanted to show this because it's kind of neat to see, because, you know, you get people that are, myself included, that are always worried about herbicide movement and everything. But check this out. I don't know how well it's going to, it's very drastic to see in person. I don't know how well it's going to show up on camera, but I literally, this is where I stopped and shut the boom off. I did not move the tractor at all when I quit spraying today. I parked it where I stopped. And right straight under the boom, this lamb's quarters here, that's already being affected by that enlist. Right here, just ahead of the boom, nothing. So it's kind of neat to see. And the fan on this outer one probably comes out to about here, and if you look, you can see a line right there in the lamb's quarters where it got some enlist on it and started wilting, and then nothing out past that. So, but kind of neat to see. Growth regulating herbicides are kind of fun to watch, just because of the goofy way they make plants act. So anyhow, let's see what we can do here. Hopefully, how much do I got left in here? Right there. Yeah, we'll spray that out, and then I'll go down. Yeah, well, I'll spray till I run out, just because it's easier to mix when I got an I'm glad I came back over here and tried it. I at least got this field done. Still wish I could have got that last field done, but it's 9:15. It's going to take me 15 minutes, 20 minutes to drive, and probably about 15 minutes to drive over that next field. By that point, you got about 15 minutes daylight left, and that just ain't, that math just ain't jiving. So I guess we're gonna call it a day right here, but I haven't even been past that next field to know how bad it is. I'm assuming it's probably gonna look about like this, because it normally, that field normally gets quite a bit of grass in it. But probably could have swung it, except for it probably took me another 20 minutes longer than what it should have to get this field done, because when you have to stop every round to clean your freaking tips out, I tell you what, I get this tank load sprayed out. If I don't have to jump right on my uncle's, I'm getting the power washer out, I'm pulling all the check valves apart, I'm cleaning the tank out, I'm power washing everything, because I don't know where it's got to be stuff that there's got to be a film of it that you can't see stuck to the inside of the tank, and there's got to be a film of it in all the hoses, and it's, I think it's the left boom does it worse than the right boom. The center hasn't really done it too much. So I guess we'll find out when we see how many freaking skips I get out here. But oh man, no more Oculus. Screw that shit. Never, ever, ever, ever again. That has to be the problem. I don't know what else it would be, because that's the only thing that's changed. It's the only thing I've never sprayed before. But anyhow, that's supposed to be some pretty gnarly shit blowing in. That's coming out of Wisconsin right now. Looks like they got hammered today. So we need the rain. I'd like to get to applicating, because I got some corn that we get a little bit more heat, or we get some rain and the more heat, that stuff's really gonna have at it. So getting over it could prove to be an issue, but it is what it is. So anyhow, I'm gonna get this home. Hopefully I can stuff it in the barn. It's gonna be tight, and come back and grab the nurse tank. The other nice thing about this is I should be done spraying, or needing the nurse tank to spray for the time being. So, because I got the tea and the planter cleaned up today, but the tea was puking out coolant again. Don't get it. It made it through that entire last field of planting corn, didn't have a problem. Drove all the way home from that field, didn't have a problem. Drove all the way over to Mom and Dad's earlier this week in the heat, didn't have a problem. Get it cleaned up, drive home with it, unhook the planter, have a problem. So, but I don't have time to screw with it right now. So that and the tea and the planter at least cleaned up and back in the barn, so they're under a roof. And I got the applicator set up. I got everything hooked up, ready to go to put behind the 1800. So I guess we'll just see how that goes. But anyway, I got stuff to do, and that's enough talking for the end of this video, because there's been enough talking in this video. So that's it for this one. That's actually it for this one, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.